council meeting order on Monday, September 23rd. Please rise and join me in the flag salute. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll make an announcement for those that are online watching the video that our microphones are not working, so we'll try to speak up as loud as we can. Dan, would you do a roll call, please?
Councilmember White. Here. Councilmember Cook.
Here.
Councilmember Fairley.
Here.
Councilmember Osborne.
Here.
Councilmember Thomas.
Here. Thank you very much. First thing on the presentations is the Blue Heron Award to Mr. Wayne Lindy. Come on up, Wayne. Please.
We forgot the spotlight. I said, sorry, we forgot the spotlight.
Spotlight. I want to award Wayne Lindy the City of Algona Blue Heron Award for his exceptional years of service on our Planning Commission. Wayne has been a dedicated commission member for 8 years.
Wow.
I know I said 6 earlier, it's 8. He started on August 23rd in 2016. During his tenure, the Planning Commission has addressed numerous crucial matters. A significant achievement during this time was completing the city's 20-year comprehensive plan over the past 2 years. The 2024 comprehensive plan is an essential guide and roadmap for Algona's future, reflecting the local vision while aligning with regional vision. This comprehensive plan, which spans over 800 pages, stands as a testament to the hard work of Wayne and the planning commissioners. I also want to acknowledge the planning team for their resilience in overcoming the challenges posed by COVID-19 and pandemic to ensure the commission's continued operations. Thank you very much, sir. Very Thank you. So good.
Wow. You too, Robin.
Oh, thank you too, Robin. Next on the agenda is Planning Commissioner confirmation. I want to introduce everybody. Barry, if you could stand up for me, please. Wasella. Barry Wasella, yep. Wasella. I appoint him to the Planning Commission and ask the council to make a motion to confirm.
I make a motion, we confirm Barry Casella to the Planning Commission.
I'll second it. I have a motion and a second to confirm Barry to the Planning Commission. Any question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you.
I, Barry Casella,
I, Barry Casella,
have been duly appointed
to
the office of
the office of
City of Algona Planning Commission,
City of Algona Planning Commission,
Position 2.
Position 2.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of this office
discharge the duties of this office
as prescribed by law
as prescribed by law
and to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
and I will support and maintain
and I will support and maintain
the constitutions
the constitutions
of the state of Washington
of the state of Washington
and the United States of America.
and the United States of America. Thank you very much. Okay.
Welcome, Barry.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any question? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say nay.
Make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this consent agenda. Everybody go with the bills and say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Passed. Reports, Mr. White?
This last week I had a chance to look at the new website and then just kind of, poking around in there. I think it looks really great. Thank you for that. A couple things I noticed that I hadn't seen before was the business video, and then welcome to Algona, come here and live video. I thought both of those were really well done. If you haven't seen those before, but overall, I thought the site looked really nice and was functional and you find things. So thank you for the work on that. I think that's a great improvement over what we had. That's all I have, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Fairly?
No reports.
Yes, sir. Mrs. Osborne?
Aye.
Mr. Thomas?
No reports.
Public Works, Dean?
Yes. Still continuing to work on the 167 ditch. We've made really good strides. We're at 5th Avenue North currently tonight. So we'll be jumping around and starting the final phase of the ditch clean out. Along with that, we're currently cleaning out the Chicago ditch as well, concurrently with 167 ditch. And we're about midway through the Chicago ditch. So by end of week, we should have that wrapped up. Also, the wetlands project is coming along quickly. They're really close to the end of phase 1 over there. There's still some clearing of the land that needs to be done, but for the most part, all the plantings, all the sidewalks, everything are going in over there. So that's where we're at with Public Works right now.
So you've been working on the Chicago ditch? How
Yes,
are you
sir.
on that?
I'm sorry.
The Chicago ditch?
Yes.
You guys been working on that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I said that.
Chicago or 167?
Chicago. I said both.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes.
Chief?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I'm going to be brief on my report. I'm just going to go over 2 things. Just because you're going to hear a lot from me tonight if you look at the agenda, so I want to be brief. Over the weekend, we had a large party which involved a band, right? Normally, traditionally, band triggers our cabaret license, where there's certain things you have to do before you have a large band at a party. That party generated a minimum 4 911 calls. One of the things I want to remind people as I looked into that today, that if you're going to call 911 about peace disturbance, you really limit us on what we can do if you don't want to be a victim. Peace disturbance is one of the few crimes that we need someone to say, yes, my peace was disturbed. Whether we hear it or not, the court standard, the prosecutor standard, we need a victim to say, yes, I'll assist in prosecution. But looking at the cabaret license code, speaking with the mayor, Jessica, it hasn't been updated in a very, very, very long time. And so if you guys have noticed by tonight's agenda, I'm kind of going through the public safety portions of the code, trying to get them up to date with state law and trying to bring options for you to decide how you want us to move forward. So at a study session in the near future, I'll be bringing this up as a discussion item, probably bringing you guys some options to choose from, and we move forward from there. Let's see. Other than that, I was approached by the University of Washington to participate in a statewide data collection. Now that the pursuit law has been dialed back, the state has ordered the University of Washington to start collecting data on pursuits. I have a meeting with them next week, and they would like all agencies to take part, but I'm sure they just started at the top of the alphabet and started working their way down to Algona. So on a budgetary note, not in my report because it's more to do on a city scale, Last week, I was approached by Auburn IT, and again, they want to renegotiate our IT services contract. Their version of that ILA basically eliminated all services they are providing for us except for the police department side, which is, to be fair, matches the current situation they have with the city of Pacific. We at this time we just can't afford bringing on an FTE or a part-time FTE to handle those services for us. So I made a really good pitch to on behalf of the city to them, and they've decided. So we're in the process of renegotiating an ILA that should be coming in front of you, but they've agreed to provide additional services. So we're going to clearly define what we're going to be getting from them. Now the cost of their contract, I think this is probably what spurred it on, is going to go down considerably because we'll no longer be purchasing Microsoft licenses from them because we purchased our own Office 365 licenses. And so the price of their contract with us is going to go down considerably. So to them, at that point, it didn't look like it was worth a while. So, but anyway, ongoing discussion, just for budgetary purposes. Other than that, I'll stand for any questions.
City Administrator, Jessica.
All right, so I attended the Washington Finance Officers Association conference this last week. Learned a lot. I do every year. There's something that there's a revenue source I do want to talk through with Tara too, and I'm hoping we can bring that forward to council. Events, pumpkin launch is coming up in October 10th, 12th, from 10 to noon. It's just here in Matchett Park. Conservation Futures, the property came up for sale between the Wetland Preserve and Green Acres Place, so we were able to put in an offer, which is part of the Conservation Futures funding, and they've accepted the offer. So now King County, part of the conservation program, is working through the logistics of that, and we should have a purchase and sale agreement for the council very shortly. Next council meeting in October is the 14th, which is technically a holiday. So would council be interested in moving it to the next day and having it Tuesday night?
I have nothing on the Tuesday. I can do that.
15th, yep.
That's the same as farming.
Seems what?
At the second Tuesday.
It'd be the 3rd, because the 1st falls on a Tuesday.
Okay.
I can't do that one, but everybody else can, we should do it.
You can or can't?
We have two negatives.
Do Wednesday the 16th?
Anybody else want to do Wednesday the 16th? No? Maybe you good? I would say Wednesday.
All right, we'll do Wednesday the 16th, and then we come across this again in November. The November 11th meeting is a holiday, so however council wants to work that, we can do Tuesday the 12th.
Did we say the 16th October?
Yes.
I can't work, I will work, me. Because SCA, I was gonna talk about SCA given to me.
How come the meeting is on the 14th? We're doing the second, 4th.
could do 2 Mondays in a row and do the 21st and 28th. That's kind of a short turnaround for staff, but I think we can make it happen.
That'd be our 2 months, so we wouldn't have a,
So there'd be a 3-week break between council meetings.
we have a budget meeting in that too.
Does that affect budget calendar at all?
No.
As long as we get the touch.
Right, first and then.
So 21st, 28th, and then November 12th, Tuesday the 12th, and then the Monday before Thanksgiving. Councilmember Thomas looks real skeptical about it.
Did you say you could read it on the 12th? Okay, that's what we said, that, okay, the 12th, all right.
Good, Monday the 21st? October 21st, October 28th, November 12th. That's all I have unless there's any questions. Absolutely.
I'll start right off, I want to talk about the HODU a little bit. You know, we sent the owner a HODU notice and asked that he evict people that were in the building, which he has not done. He had till October 8th to bring us, he has till October 8th to bring us a plan because the building is condemned. And so, if we don't hear from him, and we've tried to call him several times, we're gonna send him a letter the next day to say, okay, it's coming up on October 8th. You haven't accomplished anything. And after October 8th, if we don't hear from him, he's gonna get $250 a day fine. So we're not working towards that, but he's just insisting that he doesn't, and we're the ones that said that we would evict the people, we did not. So I have it in writing. Anyway, so we're still working on the HODU. If you guys noticed, thank you, Dean, if we have Tacoma Boulevard, that the Shunky property is spotless. Take a look at that. I mean, I didn't know he had a backyard. The backyard is clean, the front yard is clean, the buildings are done, Dean followed through.
Finally got it. Yeah.
Got it done. Well, his wife passed away, but we're gonna do it in August, but his wife passed away in August. We didn't feel like it was a good time, so we waited a few weeks after that. She was quite a collector. Anyway. So that's done, and so we're just having he's starting to talk with the lady that's up at 11th. That's gonna be one of our next projects, to get that one done. That's gonna be different and difficult because she's got mental illness. And so we're gonna have to really handle that with kid gloves. And on October 16th, there's a SCA dinner. And it's a pretty interesting dinner because the two people that negotiated the end of apartheid in South Africa are gonna be there to speak and talk about that. And it's gonna help us all as far as diversity. So if you're interested in attending that, it's at 5:30.
Where's it at?
It's in Renton. So, be careful, we just gotta be careful with quorums and cars and that kind of stuff, or could this be called a meeting, or?
As long as you don't discuss city business.
Okay. I know that we can get 4 in the Chevy, so if else wants to go. I need to know fairly soon because I'll need to pay for it in the restaurant. I know that Mr. White's gonna go. They can't go. No, it must be gone that week.
Yeah. Georgia.
Oh, that's right. That's, yeah. So anyway, if anybody else would like to go with me, that'd be great. Other than that, as of tomorrow, I'm excited to announce that I'll be stepping into the role of Public Works Director. Jessica and I are gonna work together on that. I'll probably be doing more of the day-to-day crew, managing the crew and so forth. Jessica will continue with her role. Some of the stuff that she's been working on. This will allow Jessica to dedicate more time to managing the city finances. I'm fully committed to fulfilling this position until the end of the year, when I'll actively search for a talented individual to take over. My goal is to have a new person in place by January 2025. I'm looking forward to the new challenge, and I'm confident that together we can find a great successor to continue the important work of Public Works Director. I want to extend my heartfelt thanks to Jessica for her outstanding work in managing dual roles of City Administrator and Public Works Director. Jessica and her team overcame numerous challenges this spring and summer, accomplishing tasks that have been pending for years. Complete cleaning of the storm system in the city's north end, set up and manage an equipment maintenance program, organizing and maintaining a weekly work schedule, working with King County Solid Waste to ensure that the construction project was going as planned and operations were running smoothly for the construction team in the city. Jessica's managed Wetlands Park project from the beginning through the bid process and now the construction phase. We have cleaned the 167 ditch from our city's north and south borders. And the north border will be finished here, hopefully at the end of this week or next week. So thank you very much. And that's all I have. Highest participation. The City Council encourages public participation during meetings of the City Council. Welcome your comments. This time is set aside for you to speak to the City Council on any issue. The Council ordinarily takes non-agenda matters under advisement before taking action. You're also invited to comment on action items as they are considered during the meeting. Individual speakers will be limited to 3 minutes each in addressing the City Council. When addressing the Council, please speak clearly and audibly, state your name and address for the record. Move on to discussion. Item A is 2025 preliminary revenue estimates. Tara, thank you.
Thank you. You should have a 2-page handout in your packet, starting with the general fund. So as a reminder, this is the kickoff for our 2025 budget process. This step of presenting preliminary revenue estimates and holding a public hearing is required as a precursor to the property tax ordinance. As a reminder, our property tax ordinance must be adopted in order to levy property taxes. Council will have the option of a 0% or a 1% increase in the property tax levy when that ordinance comes through for reading. We may continue to adjust revenue estimates as we move through the budget process. These are preliminary estimates based on year-to-date revenues through August and no grant revenues for the coming year. The public hearing on revenue sources is scheduled for October 28th. So on the general fund side, I want to focus on the change from 2024 budget to 2025 budget, so that you can be prepared for what the revenue picture looks like as we move through the budget process. So starting with property tax, you'll note this presentation is showing a 1.5% increase. You might ask, why is that higher than the maximum 1%? That's because construction received in 2024 accounts for about 0.5% increase, and then these projections assume the council will adopt a 1% increase. And looking at your preliminary numbers, I would highly recommend that the council be leaning towards that for this budget cycle. Sales tax revenues are up significantly, which is great. We budgeted $481,000 for 2024, and we're projecting almost $710,000. So it's a significant increase. It's great to see for the city. We are projecting conservatively, the 2025 sales tax will be equal to 2024's projections. So always trying to budget fairly conservatively on sales tax and not overcount on that. Local criminal justice tax is a sales tax, so it's going to show similar increases percentage-wise as sales tax. Not as significant in terms of dollars, but still significant in terms of overall increase. Percentage-wise, the utility taxes are showing moderate increases. Overall, you'll notice that the water is slightly down. We use year-to-date numbers through August, so it's possible that the August and September usage will be a little bit higher and bump those numbers up. But overall, everything's maintaining very consistent increases in the utility taxes. With licenses and permits, we're projecting a very moderate 1.7% increase. Intergovernmental revenues have several changes from 2024 budget to 2025 projections. So the first one is the wetlands grant. There was $120,000 budgeted in 2024. That was a one-time capital project. We're not carrying that forward to 2025. My understanding is that project is complete and that funding will be received this year. The second change is the COPS grant. So we budgeted $125,000 in 2024. However, that grant is actually $125,000 over 3 years. So we need to get that corrected in this budget cycle and only budget $42,000 or 1/3 of that in 2025. So that's an increase of $84,000. Those two items together account for approximately $200,000 of the decrease in intergovernmental revenue. Two other minor things. There was a commerce grant for $21,000 in 2024, a one-time grant for growth management, not included in 2025. And then we're projecting city assistance revenues to decrease about $15,000. The city assistance funds are a portion of the state real estate excise tax that gets distributed to cities, so it's really nothing we can control. The city gets what it gets. Projected to get about $50,000 in 2024 and likely $35,000 in 2025 based on preliminary estimates from the city. Charges for services include command check fees, the King County transit reimbursement, and contracted police services. That's projected to have a very slight increase, nothing substantial changing from 2024. Fines and forfeitures is only on here because we had some actuals in 2022. This line has really been zeroed out with contracting for court services and using the revenues to pay for the cost of court services. And then miscellaneous revenues, this is another positive for the budget. So the biggest line item here is investment interest. We budgeted $86,000 in 2024 and we're projected to receive actually $240,000. Interest rates have been really high all year, and I think they'll still maintain a fairly significant rate, hopefully at least 4% for the rest of the year, so we should get to that $240,000. I bumped it down to a projection of $150,000 for next year, knowing rates are going to decrease substantially. We really don't want to bank on interest revenue to balance the budget, so I feel good about that estimate, roughly cutting the rates, cutting the projected revenue nearly in half. Hopefully it will come in higher than that. But again, conservative budgeting. So the bottom line for the general fund is we end up with an increase of revenue of approximately $142,000 over the 2024 budget. Equates to 4.5%. You might think this is good. I want to brace you for a difficult budget process. The city did adopt a budget with a deficit in the general fund in 2024. This revenue increase is not going to come close to covering that, and then we also have cost increases coming in, of course, cost of living adjustments, inflation, etc. So it's not going to be an easy budget process at all, despite the fact that we have some good things happening with revenue, particularly with sales tax and investment interest. And then the second page of your packet is a similar summary for the street fund. We include the street fund because it's subsidized by the general fund. We want to cover that. It does get a portion of the property tax allocation. The first item you'll note is taxes are projected to increase 4.4%. I honestly think I must have had an error in the 2024 budget there. I don't know why it was a little bit less than 2023, but we're correcting that. This year it's a difference of only $8,300 with the 1% increase and some new construction, but it does make the variance look a little bit funny at 4.4% increase. Licenses and permits projected to be very consistent at less than $1,000. The state-generated revenues include motor vehicle fuel taxes, which are maintained at a steady level. The big decrease here is due to the Transportation Improvement Board capital funding. So there's a capital grant of $678,000 in the 2024 budget. This year's capital project awarded for 2025 is smaller at $450,000. So nothing to be concerned about there. That is capital funding, not ongoing operational funding. You'll see a decrease in expenditures that corresponds with that as well. The miscellaneous revenues are primarily investment interest. So we did include the investment interest allocation in 2024, but we did change the process to credit all the investment interest to the general fund. So we're correcting that with the 2025 budget, not budgeting any interest in the individual funds. And then lastly, interfund transfers is projected to increase slightly, about 5.5%. That's reflective of preliminary expenditure numbers for the street fund, which are slightly increasing over 2024, and we'll see those expense numbers in detail next time. So that is a summary of revenue projections for the general fund and street fund, and I'd be happy to answer questions if there are any. Very good, thank you.
Good job, thank you so much. These streetlight standards.
Alright, so there really isn't too much to update on. We are gonna have a representative from Seattle Lighting attend the next council meeting. Give a brief presentation on the quotes on those two options that are recommended by Planning Commission. She's also going to prepare some other options outside of the recommendations, just for council's review. I did include the current version of the street lighting standards, which is little to none. And then the new version is quite extensive and would replace that tiny little paragraph that we have currently. Is there any immediate questions, or if you think of any, you can always send them to me and we can ready for next.
So some of the PSE options would be a little less expensive.
I believe so.
Any questions for that? Item C is ordinance number 1239-24, public camping.
All right. As I said, you're going to hear a lot from me tonight, so the next couple ones are me. If you are not following the news, the city of Auburn passed a no public camping ban. Shortly after, or little bit before, the homeless camps started dispersing. And of course, some of them made their way south. So this is us instituting our own, in accordance with the recent Supreme Court ruling, instituting our own public camping ban. We talked about this a couple study sessions ago. I will tell you, since the last couple of weeks, our calls for people sleeping in Matcha Park have stepped up. And the public works guys are finding them along the trail. So unfortunately, we're going to have to adopt our own. And so Zach, and I want to give credit to Zach. Monday, he worked diligently and got this done in one day. It's based off of a couple of cities, Linwood and Lakewood. There's a section in here where we give them 24 hours notice if we're going to break up a encampment. It also does not allow, it creates a new section in section 9 of the municipal code. So we're going to deal with it in a humane way, but it also defines sleeping on sidewalks, streets, and alleyways, camping prohibited, where it's prohibited, removal of campsites, how we're going to go about that, disposition and release of personal property, which we have a very robust policy, but also some of these things are going to be a health hazard. So how are we going to deal with that? And mitigation, how we're going to provide them services, how we're going to help get them on the right path, and then of course a penalty. This is the first touch, and I will be bringing it forward in the next 2 council meetings. I'm not asking to waive the 3-touch rule, but this is a very comprehensive ordinance. I would ask each of you to study it, and we have a robust discussion at the next council meeting. Yes, so one of the things that Zach likes in Linwood's camping ordinance, and this is all about, we don't want to be the next Grants Pass. We don't want to go take a case all the way to the Supreme Court. So we want to provide them, if we're going to break up an encampment, I'm not talking about somebody that's not set up an encampment. I'm talking about, hey, if there's an encampment along the trail, we're going to provide 24 hours notice. Tomorrow we're coming back and this is all going away. Say that again, sir.
Section 9.06 is saying 72 hours.
Okay. So Zach must have slipped out. It's supposed to be 24 hours notice, right? And again, I'll make that edit. Zach and I talked about a 24-hour notice. Okay. Now, if you as a council want to give us 72, we'll give them 72 hours notice. I'll be glad to leave it in there. But at this point, my recommendation to you is 24 hours.
At this point, there should be any camps in this trench that would take that long.
Correct. So again, I work for you guys on this, but my recommendation is 24 hours, and I can make that edit before the next council.
Is that the minimum we can do?
Correct. Again, our goal is not to become the next test case. We want to make sure we're well within the law and the guidance from the Supreme Court. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. Item D is ordinance number 1240-24, body worn camera reaction team.
Okay. This is a first touch as well. Actually, this is a resolution. Do we require first touch by resolution, Dave? Okay. So when Jessica gets back, but what's happening is we're getting for-profit organizations doing multiple requests for body cam footage so they can put it on YouTube. This spurred me to doing research. So, for example, King County charges an hourly rate of $55 and a minimum of one. And I don't care if you have a 5-minute video, they're going to charge you $55 and up. So $55. City of Tacoma, 80 cents. City of Tukwila, 63 cents. Yeah. So, and then there's some in further south on I-5 that charge 49 cents a minute for a fee for a video. I'm not trying to discourage, but a 5-minute video with redaction software that we purchased, an extra $10,000 on our camera bill, it takes 45 minutes, and that's with the algorithm that preps it. So a 5-minute video takes 45 minutes to redact and be ready to go. So having that in mind, the legislature a couple of years ago gave us the authority to charge these fees as long as they were reasonable and that we purchased something to improve the process, which we did. We purchased the redaction. algorithm suite is what it's called. So I took the hourly wage with benefits, which the current specialist, 36 bucks an hour. I divided that by 60, that gave me 60 cents. So there's her time per minute. And then the extra 3 cents is going to be to help pay for the redaction suite, to recoup the cost from the redaction suite. We're in the middle of the road as far as reasonable. I think it's totally reasonable where we're at, just doing the research. Again, this is first touch, and we'll be bringing it 2 more times in front of you at amendment. Yes, sir.
Have you had a lot of requests?
Yes. Our requests have jumped up expeditiously, and as I stated, this is an example, and Dana can attest to it. Hey, I run video website so-and-so under Washington State Public Records Act. I'm requesting all your DUI arrests from this date to this time, body cam video for all your DUI arrests from this time to this time. I'm requesting all your auto theft body cam video, all your theft 3 charges, and they'll just list of things of crimes that they want video of, right? And those can, like right now, one of them's an hour and a half long. So we've got to be able to, I'm all for free society and the Public Records Act, but I just got to be able to be a good steward of your money and our time and take care of it. So.
At this rate, does it cover everything? I mean,
Yes. Without being considered unreasonable, $55 an hour is a lot, right? But I just don't want to be challenged again. I think we're in the middle of the road as far as the fee.
as long as it's not costing the city.
Right. Like I said, I took the hourly wage with benefits, was 36 bucks an hour for the current specialist. Ashley is doing the reduction. I divide that by 60, with 60 minutes in an hour. That gave me 60 cents. And then, okay, I'm paying for her wage to do, we'll just say 5 minutes is going to take us, right? And then the extra 3 cents, because I'm asking for 63 cents, is to cover that extra cost we paid a couple of years ago for the redactions.
Is she doing it by the time that it takes her to do it,
Mm-hmm.
or the length of the video?
The time it takes her to do it.
So there's not a minimum charge.
No, we're just asking 63 cents per minute.
Because you said if it's a 5-minute video, it takes you 45 minutes, so we're 45 times 60 cents.
Correct. 63.
63.
Does that make sense to everybody? Okay.
If it makes sense, it just doesn't seem like it's.
You'd like it to be higher? I mean, I can go back and,
I don't know, it seems cheap to me, but if you've done the math, I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you.
no,
I'm not gonna argue with you.
listen, I'm open to it. Again, the high side is $55 and a minimum charge. And then it goes 55 an hour. So if you had an hour and a half video, that's 110 bucks. So that's King County. That's what they charge. So that's the high side. So if the council thinks it needs to be higher, I'll go back and I just have to, according to Zach, whatever we come up with, I have to be able to do a formula. This is how we came up with that. And I'm like I said, I'm open to doing more.
Well, my thing is 3 cents, but if it costs us $10,000 for the software, and we're only charging 3 cents a minute, it's gonna take a long time
Okay.
to pay that back.
All right. Would you be more comfortable with an hourly fee like King County? I do think $55 people are going to claim indigency on us if we go to that route. So.
I think a per minute, a charge per minute is fine. I don't think it's, because if it's a minute video, I mean, and we're charging a minimum charging $55, I think we're gouging. But also in the same sentences, if we're only charging 3 cents a minute for this software, it'll take a long time to pay it back, and then there's going to be eventually upgrades or new versions, and That's just my opinion, I'm 1 of 5, so.
I mean, if it's the consensus of the council, we need to readjust that and come up with a new formula. I'm down. I'm totally down. I've got to get something on the books because the public disclosure requests are starting to roll in more and more and more. That makes sense.
Yeah, it would take a long time to pay that back. I think it's reasonable. I think you can articulate, how long is that software will last? I mean,
So we're 3 years into our 5-year contract with Axon. And the updates are included as long as you're, so I'm in this contract where I pay X amount of dollars a year for 10 cameras, the redaction suite, and storage. So we're 3 years into that contract as of September 1st.
that's $10,000 a year or $10,000?
That $10,000, $10,500 over the life of the contract. So divide that by 5. Now, you know, what we do at the end of that 5, we may have to renegotiate a contract, and those prices may have gone up. And to your point, raising the fee to anticipate that would be a reasonable move in my part. Whatever we do, we have to document it in a formula. So if it's ever challenged by somebody, we can go, here's our memo, this is how we came up with it.
I think just do the math on the 10,000 and see what that looks like. It's probably more than 3.
Okay. So I can come back, I can rework that. I'll take that into consideration, council's comments, and I'll come back with another fee. But again, this will count as first touch. All right.
Works for me. Thank you.
Item E, ordinance number 1238-24, speed limits.
Okay, so I'm gonna count this as a second review because we made some edits to this. This is actually at your guys' request. One of the highlights is, if you look at the ordinance itself, we added item J, Celery Avenue, 25 miles per hour. That was at the last time we saw this. You guys wanted that identified as a 25 mile an hour street. Is that accurate? Okay. And then, as item K is underlined, this is a new definition. And I'm going to read it for the record. All east-west residential streets without an abutting sidewalk on at least one side. So to your point, Councilmember Thomas, it's clear. Only east-west streets, not Celery, which is a north-south street. So we did it 2 ways. 25 miles per hour. For the purpose of this subsection, residential street shall mean a non-arterial street within or abutting a residential zoning district under the city's zoning code. So we massage that definition as well.
Go ahead.
Did you say 25?
Mm-hmm.
Because it says 20.
So east-west streets are 20.
Oh,
Okay, all other streets in the city will be 25 miles an hour.
okay, thanks.
Yep.
No questions, no comments? That would be the second touch.
That is the second touch. So we will be moving forward next council meeting. I believe that, you know, this, in all reality, this is probably the 5th or 6th touch. We will be moving forward for final passage next council.
I see no new business, no old business. No new ordinances, resolutions pass. Next workshop.
Then we have to do more finance stuff in the workshop.
Oh, we do have finance committee this Thursday at We're gonna go over the, oh man, it's been a minute. We're gonna go over stuff. It's quite a full meeting. We had quite a few things to go over with Sarah. So we'll be ready to report on that this Thursday. That would be the 26th. 5 o'clock. We're gonna go over the indirect cost allocation, because that's being renewed. Something else I was doing. What was it?
Do we have anything we need to do in a work session, not finance committee, but for a work session for?
Probably
Finance committee stuff.
a report out of the finance committee stuff. I think there's some decisions that need to be made during that committee.
So next workshop's gonna be finance.
More budget related stuff, yep.
Anybody have any